The uterus is a muscular organ that houses the developing offspring. Taking a closer look at the regions of the uterus, the rounded top of the uterus is known as the fundus. The major central portion is called the body. And then about the lower 1/3 of the uterus is known as the cervix. The uterus is a hollow organ. And so taking a look at the uterine cavity, we can see that the uterine cavity, the space inside of the uterus, is continuous with both uterine tubes. And it also is continuous with the vagina. This is the vagina. This is the cervix. Notice how the cervical region of the uterus projects into the vagina, and the opening to this passageway that moves through the cervix, known as the cervical canal. That external entrance to the cervical canal is the external os, where the cervical canal opens into the uterine cavity. That's known as the internal os. Let's finish by taking a look at the wall of the uterus. The wall of the uterus has 3 layers. The outer layer is the visceral peritoneum, so it's just a connective tissue coat, and it's known as the perimetrium. The thickest layer of the uterus is the smooth muscle layer, known as the myometrium. And then the epithelial tissue lining of the uterus is called the endometrium. Let's take a closer look at the endometrium. Okay, using this diagram, we can clearly see the difference between the muscular myometrium below my line. The endometrium is above the black line. The epithelial tissue is simple columnar epithelial tissue. It's being depicted yellow here. You can see it burrowing from the surface and forming a uterine gland. We can also see what uterine glands look like on the micrograph. And so when the endometrium responds to hormonal stimulation to get thicker and thicker, what grows is not the columnar epithelial tissue, but instead it's this layer of loose connective tissue, this vascular loose connective tissue that the epithelium is lying on, known as the lamina propria. That's the part that's getting thicker and thicker. So there is this basal layer of the endometrium that never is shed with menstrual flow. That's known as the stratum basalis. And then the additional thickness that grows in response to hormonal stimulation is known as the stratum functionalis.